Hello, this is going to be a tutorial on how to do Shiverburn 1 this star for SMG2 any percent. This is going to be a tutorial for the entirety of the level, including the boss fight, because there isn't really anything big in this level. It's just a bunch of small things that add up over time. So there's a lot of different ways you can go about each of the sections of this level, so I'm going to try to show off as many of them as I can. And hopefully this will be able to help. So first of all, when you're practicing this level, you're going to want to skip the cutscenes, because this will normally be the second star you do, and so you'll be able to skip the cutscenes. So at the start, just long jump a few times, and then right from the start, there's going to be some variance here. So, actually I'm going to go back a little bit to show off something. So, I'll look behind here. So you see that planet over there? That's the second planet of the level. And so what you're going to start this level off by doing is by doing a skip that allows you to get from the start of this planet all the way to that end of the planet over there, which is the ending of that planet, and also where the comet medal is. So there's several different ways you can go about doing this skip. I'll show off one of the easier methods first. So there's actually two different ways you can go about getting over to this platform if you're going to do this strat. You can either long jump and then take a hit of lava, and then grab Cloud Mario and then long jump back using the platform. Or you can long jump from the platform itself and then use a cloud to get back, because you only need 2 clouds with this strat. And then you would long jump back, you can grab a coin from that guy if you want safety net. And then you're going to long jump from this position on the platform right here, kind of with a down right angle, and at around here make your first cloud, and then long jump, wait a little bit longer, and then make a second cloud. There aren't really any good visual indicators for when you should make your clouds, so you kind of have to go by feel. You want your clouds to be pretty low though, because if it's too high, then you'll get caught up in gravity, but you'll end up at the beginning of the planet and not the end, so you would have to go through that entire planet, and you wouldn't save that much time. So once you make the second cloud, you just long jump, and eventually you'll get caught up in gravity. And then an advantage of doing this strat is that you'll have an extra cloud with you, so if you want, you can use it to get the comet medal so you don't take damage, and then you can just long jump back into the launch star. Although, for reasons I'll explain later, I would recommend getting rid of Cloud Mario when you enter the section. Alright, I'm gonna die again to show off the other variant of the strat. So now if you're gonna actually do the fast version of the strat, that's a little bit more complicated. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna activate this platform, long jump off the edge here, long jump into the cloud flower, and then you're going to want to immediately turn around and hold down left, and then long jump off this platform as you pass by it. And then you're going to start making your clouds, so it's going to look a little something like this. Alright, and now once you start making these clouds, first of all, you're going to want to make the clouds by shaking and then crouching so that you cloud cancel, and then you're going to want to utilize the bounce to get that cloud momentum. And then you want to make 3 clouds and then long jump off the edge there, and then spin about a second after you get caught in the gravity field. So actually I was too low there. I didn't get a good enough bounce from that first cloud. You have very, very little time to set this up. So I would only do this strat if you're going at a top level. So again, you grab this, then you would go down left, long jump off the platform. You want to make the second cloud around when you pass by that little bump in the level. Alright. And if that happens, then you really just have no better option but to kill yourself. That's actually not happened to me before. So you want the first cloud to be made just about a second after you go above the abyss. The second cloud should be made once you pass by that little bump in the level, and then the third cloud should be made. Listen to the music for when I make the third cloud. Right around there. I use an audio cue in the music for that, and then you want to wait around a second after you get caught in gravity, spin, and then ground pound. And what you want to do is you want to long jump across these platforms, grab the comet medal, spin, and then ground pound into the lava. So this will get rid of Cloud Mario, which will also get rid of kind of that floaty state that's normally present when you have him. And then afterwards, you just want to go back into the launch star, take it, and now you're going to head over to the ice section of the level, and there are several ways to go about this section as well. So you want to be here with at least 2 HP. If you happen to have only 1 HP for some reason, there's there's a couple Octumba enemies you can kill here that have coins in them. There's also a crystal with a life mushroom, but that's a little out of the way. So only get that if you're like really, really scared. But 2 HP will be fine here. So once you land here, you're once again on a timer because there's going to be falling crystals up ahead. So you can actually delay that a little bit by turning the camera to the left, which requires her hitting left on the D-pad twice. So there are several different patterns for jumps you can do here. What I usually do is I do a single jump into the checkpoint after skating. You want to initiate a skate, by the way. And then afterwards, I do a long jump, another single jump, and then I long jump across the gap. And then I long jump across the gap, and then I turn the camera back. And then you want to do another long jump, wait a little bit, long jump again, and let bounce in the lava. And if you do that right, you should land on this first crystal. These guys are a little lower. If you do that right, you should land on the first crystal behind you. Because normally what you're supposed to do is shoot coconuts back at these guys so that they form a bridge. But by doing that, you can just skip that sequence entirely. And then from there, you can just long jump across the crystals. I'm going to try to show that off again because that can be... It's a lot. This level's a lot to take in at once. So again, once you start, you just do a single jump, long jump, and then these falling meteors are on cycles, so you kind of have to see and react to them if you don't know what cycle you're again. Long jump up the edge of this platform, then you lava just past them, and afterwards you would just skate a couple times, and then you'll take the launch star. And now it's time for the Prince Picante fight. So there's actually 2 different ways you can go about doing this fight. I'm going to first show it off the way that I would highly recommend doing it, and then I'll try to show off the other method, but I'm not very good at the other method. So to start the fight off, you're just going to skate around. He follows the same path every time if you do the same thing every time. You're going to want to intentionally miss this first coconut, and then you're going to hang out around this area, and then hit that first coconut right around there. And now he's going to head over to this side of the battlefield. And then you're going to kind of want to stay in this region, and then after he's going to shoot 2 fireballs, and then he's going to shoot the coconut on the 3rd volley. And it's at that point that you want to kind of jump and spin on him, and you want to be really close to him. So what you're doing by doing this strat is setting him up so that he's never on this side of the battlefield during the 2nd or 3rd hits, because it will cause him to do an upwards firing attack that kind of randomizes the fight a little bit. And afterwards, you would just head over to this side. He'll shoot 2 more sets of fireballs, and then you just hit the 3rd coconut back at him, and the fight's done. That method is actually super easy. It's only a few seconds slower than the fastest strat, which I'll try and show now. And it's super consistent, and no RNG required whatsoever. And then afterwards, obviously, you would just grab the star instead of just jumping off into the void like I just did. So now if you're going to do RNG strats, this strat that I'm about to show is very, very random. It's only a few seconds faster than what I just showed you. I would not recommend doing this strat if you're just starting out. I would recommend doing the strat you saw me do before. So you would hit that first coconut back at him, and then you would lure him over to this side of the battlefield. And now once he starts preparing to shoot the coconuts, you're going to want to initiate a triple jump at him. And then at the peak of your triple jump, while he's firing off the fireballs and coconuts, while he's firing them upwards, you kind of want to spin. And if you get lucky, and if you time it right, you should be able to hit one of the coconuts back at him, and it will hit him immediately. And then after that happens, you have very little time to react. You have to start skating around the field, and hopefully you'll find a coconut that's falling, and hopefully you'll be able to hit it back at him. So I'm going to try and demonstrate this here. I don't do the strat, so I'm not very good at it. Okay, so I was actually way too close to him there. So yeah, that's one of the risks, is sometimes you are too close to him, and sometimes you're just not able to, and then other times if that happens, then you're not able to get one of the coconuts that falls, and if that happens, you're just screwed. So yeah, you don't want that to happen. Also, I think if you practice this boss, I don't think watching the cutscenes matters. Also, if you happen to screw up the other strat, and he happens to do that upward firing attack, you can try this as a last resort backup, but I would not recommend it. Alright, so yeah, I was a little earlier, and I also might have been a little far away, but I didn't get hit. So that's what you would do if you get the second hit. Alright, I'll give it one more go. Again, I don't normally do the strat, and it is random and also very tight. Yeah, this is why you don't want to do this strat, because it's extremely challenging and random. You want to do the RNG safe strat that I showed first. I was too close to him there. Alright, yeah, you get the idea. Basically what would happen if you do that properly is if you would hit one of the coconuts and it would fly immediately into him, and then you would just skate around and look for another one. But yeah, you would lose a lot of time if you messed that up. So I'm going to walk through the boss fight one more time using the strats I normally use, and then I'm going to try to do a walkthrough of the entire level at full speed. So again, you just skate around. He's going to shoot off one set of fireballs, and then he's going to shoot off a coconut, which you want to miss. Then you're going to kind of want to hang around here. He's going to shoot another fireball, and then he's going to shoot another coconut, and this one that you want to hit. The timing for that is actually fairly lenient, so it's not like super specific when you need to hit the coconut. You just need to make sure you hit it rather late. Then you want to wait for him to shoot up 2 more fireballs, and then you shoot another coconut, and you want to hit that one really close to him. Then move to the other side. So that these fireballs are easier to dodge. He's going to shoot 2 more fireballs, and then he's going to shoot a 3rd coconut. And that will end the fight. So now I'm going to walk through the level using the strats that I normally use in RTA at full speed. If you want, you can do one of the alternate beginner strategies that I said you could do. Like, go out of your way to get some health in the ice section, or do the alternate skip for this first section. Sometimes when you long jump off these platforms, they'll randomly give you a boost in height. It doesn't really matter unless it happens there, at which point you're going to be on a much stricter schedule with this platform. So again, make the first pod around there, make the second pod after crossing that gap, and then make that 3rd pod. That 3rd pod you kind of have to just go by feel. Alright, then you land around here, long jump downwards, grab this common metal, and then ground pound into the lava, and then jump back on here and take this launch star. You can also play around with your movement in this section a little bit if you want to find something that works for you. You actually don't have to spin when doing that long jump across the gap. Also, if you're wondering why you're turning the camera to the left there, it's to keep these icicles off screen for longer. So that way you don't have to wait for them, otherwise you'll be too late for them. And then you would just kind of skate across those. You want to take the pattern that I use for skating across those icicles, and then you would fight for Conte. Again, skip this first coconut, hang on around here, hit the second one late. If you hit that one too early, then he won't follow the same route, and he'll likely end up doing the upward firing attack. Again, if that happens, you can go for that RNG strat that I showed for as a last resort backup, but I wouldn't recommend it. And then you would wait for him to shoot off 2 more fireballs, and then hit that 3rd coconut, and that will finish the level. So I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, just again ask, and I will try to answer them as best as I can. Thank you for watching.